Okay. We rolling? Okay, good. Yesterday, I drove a wild and scary guy to Monterey. This is that story. Crazy Uber Stories, Part 1. Now, when I picked up Lucky, I thought it was just going to be a fun ride to Monterey, you know? And then I just decide what to do from there. Actually just barely started getting back into Uber again. Yesterday I'd only done like 4 rides leading up to it. 2 of them were crazy. This lady was like running after my car when I left. She wasn't there on time, not my fault. And then the second one was this lady who had a big dispute with some company, where I guess they like beat her up, and then she beat them up, and now they're going to like one of those crazy court shows. So the day was already wild. And when I saw the boop, Monterey $105 to $120 trip pop up, I was like, you know what? I got the water in my car, a couple snacks. Let's do this shit. So I picked up the guy, and the name was Monique, and I pick up the guy, and his name's Lucky, you know. Yeah, it was interesting. When I first started hearing him, he just seemed like a cool dude, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm running late to work." It's like, in Monterey? He's like, "Yeah, that's actually where I live. The reason I'm here is because I bought my wife a car, and she didn't want it, so I sold it, and now I had to find a way back to work." So already, like, within the first 30 seconds, this is just, it's crazy. I know it's gonna get crazy. And so he just starts telling his story that he's making big bucks in Monterey. He said he worked like 80 hours last week, which is really scary, doing some type of renovations or something. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm just like all ears listening in on him. And right off the bat, he also tells me that the wife he just bought the car for, it has a restraining order against him. And then he brings up his girlfriend who lives in Monterey. And already, like, this story was just like, I couldn't keep up with it. But I'm trying my best. So what I find out is that the store he works out in Monterey is a pornography store where they sell videos, and they have like an actual theater. He said there's a theater for like straight films and a theater for gay films. And he said that like it's been popping off since he started working there. And I guess he's making a ton. Like, it's actually doing really, really well. And so well that like the original business owner that he got with in last November sold the place. And then because he had made so much, he paid Lucky and Lucky's girlfriend, I'll get to the girlfriend, $500 each just as a bonus for like saying thank you, store's done so well. They're like, whoa. And so already like, and he had said like he had a girlfriend and he had a wife, and they brought up side chicks, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I needed to write out all these storylines. What had happened? He moved to Monterey to get away from like the gangs and stuff. I guess he was in gang. I'm not gonna gang shout. I mean, I don't know how well this video could do, but I'm not trying to risk that. He went to Monterey to get away from like the badness. I guess he had a restraining order against his wife, but he just hung out with his wife, bought his wife a car. It's so confusing, but I was in it. I was paying attention. And so he went to Monterey, ran away with a girlfriend who was in Fresno. I know. And so they're living in Monterey. The girlfriend applies for a job at this porno shop, and Lucky, that's the guy's name, Lucky goes in with her and somehow gets a job. And I guess in the first week or two, he was just amazing. Sales went up. Just amazing work ethic. The owner was super happy with him, the first owner, and gave him a job. But it was so under the table that like it took a week or two before the owner was like, hey, I actually need your name so I can write out your check. Also, need to do a background check on you. Now this is where Lucky really started to scare me. He was like, so I told the owner, you're not going to want to run that background check on me. You're not going to like what you're going to see. I'm just going to be straight with you, man. I'm a hard worker. You've seen my work ethic. You've seen sales have gone up. Have they gone up? The owner's like, yeah, big time. Well, if you run that background check, it's not going to come back good. But you know what you got with me, and I guess the owner was cool with it. He let him keep working there, and from there it was awesome. Lucky was working, making top dollar, living in Monterey, and then I guess after like 6 months or so of like the business being up so much, which who would think a pornography store would do that well? I wouldn't think so. But that's what Lucky said. Lucky said it was making like, there's like regulars. He said there was like gay regulars, straight regulars, everybody, even like hot girls, he said, would come in. I was like, wow. Also, he used the store for like a drug hookup where like he wouldn't sell the drugs, but like people would be like, hey, when is Margaret coming in later? And he'd catch like 50 bucks or $100, and then he'd be like, oh, Margaret's gonna be here at 6:30. He said at first he was making more money off the communicating with people than he was actually at the store. So, probably due to the real estate market's up, but you guys don't want to hear that crap. Owner decides to sell the store, pays Lucky a really nice amount. The new owners are like kicking it up. They're kicking it up in a high speed, they're renovating, but they're dropping the hours. So now Lucky only has to work like 6 hours a shift, where he was working like 10 to 12 hours a shift. Which honestly, that's got to be like some regulations that were being broke by the previous owner. But it is what it is. So the new guys, he's getting a better salary. He's getting commission now, and he's working less hours. So he's super happy with these guys, and that's where he's really happy in Monterey. Now, why is he called Lucky? Well, about halfway during our trip, he told me, you've heard my name is Lucky, you want to know why? And I was like, of course. I have a gambling addiction. I guess lucky ain't so lucky. God, I shouldn't have done that. So what he does is, I guess he goes into stores, and they have them all over the state, and you get like an online code for slots machines that you play on your phone, and you can just like make a ton of money, lose a ton of money. He said that the most he'd ever won was $3,200 in a day. I was like, wow. And he said the most he's ever lost in a day is an entire check. And with the new commission split, $1,400 is how much he's making per check. So he lost $1,400 in one day. And he said that last week he lost his entire check. I was like, damn, man, you got a problem. But I was like, oh yeah, that's so cool. Like, you like to gamble, blah, blah. And then he was talking about all of his girlfriends. I guess he had 5 chicks at one point that he was dating. And then he brought them all to the same place. And it was crazy. Actually, with the 5 chicks, he said it was just when cell phones came out that he went to T-Mobile, bought 5 cell phones, and had a cell phone for each side chick. That dude was dedicated. But I was like, how is this guy? Like, I mean, he's a decent looking dude. Like, don't get me wrong. I was like, how is he so good with the chicks? Later on, he would go on to tell me why he's so good with the chicks. He only lets them give him head. That's what he said. That's what Lucky said, okay? That's what he said. Because I guess if they only give him head, they always want to at least have sex with him once. But he never gives in. Dude, Lucky's the GOAT. He's also kind of a douchebag. The girlfriend that he's with, he just keeps like messing with. Like he said that the way that he stops an argument, the way that he wins an argument, is by falling asleep. And this was halfway during a trip, and I was like, what? You just like fall asleep? He's like, yeah, I learned through my fights with women that the best way to shut them up is to just go straight to sleep. And so as he's telling this, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's really cool. I swear to God, I swear, he instantly fell asleep while talking about it. Like, I don't know if that was part of his story or if he got bored talking to me. This man falls asleep. And at first I'm like, oh, he's probably joking. He's probably joking. I look back, this man's snoring. I mean, I thought about taking a video of it because I thought it'd be funny. Oh, my Uber ride is asleep. And then I remembered this guy's committed many crimes. Probably a felon, maybe. I don't know. I probably don't want to piss him off. So, did not do that. I went smart. What crimes did he commit? I don't know. I don't really want to know. He's in a well-known Fresno gang. Not going to say that. And I guess he's going to Monterey to stay away from the crime because without his family and his homies around, he won't be so inclined to keep committing bad crimes. So we're getting to the end of the trip. He's talking about his girlfriend. I don't know why he's with her, the girlfriend, not the wife. Wife has the restraining order. And yeah, he's saying he hates her and that she's not even that good looking. And that he just nags her, and I'm like, dude, why the hell are you with her then? He's like, yeah, I try to sell her off to other guys, and like I ask her for a 25% split, and it really pisses her off. He's like, yeah, I had this guy come into the store and offer $500 for 10 minutes with her. So I run over to my girlfriend, and I'm like, hey, babe, $500, 10 minutes. I take my 25%, everybody wins. And his girlfriend was just furious at him. He was caused like a major fight. I don't know why. He probably just went to sleep during the fight. But yeah, and the final story he hit me with about his girlfriend, right as I'm about to drop him off in Salinas, is that his girlfriend's grandma would joke around with him, like little sexual innuendos. I guess she always has been like sexual. And so one time, Lucky is like hanging out at the mom's place, and the grandma was there. Yeah, the grandma knocks on Lucky's door. Girlfriend's supposedly not around, and she's like, "Hey, Lucky, are you naked in there? I'll jump your boots or jump your bones or something like that." And I guess the girlfriend was right there and just popped out and was screaming at the grandma. The grandma used to come over like every other day. She hasn't been there for 4 months. And Lucky's like, you know what? To be honest, the grandma was pretty hot. I might even think about hitting up the grandma, because Lucky has no standards. That's why Lucky got laid so much, or not laid, got head so much. He's a no standard mofo, as he told me. Wonder how hot the grandma is, to be honest. But I survived the trip. I'm dropping him off, and he tries to tip me. I'll give him that. He tried to give me like $20. He was like, do you have change for a 50? I did not, only had like $10. He was like, let me go inside, let me see if my homie's got like a 20 on them. He comes outside and he's like, homies don't have 20s. But do you smoke weed by any chance? Smoke weed every day. And I was like, nah, I don't, man, I'm sorry. And I didn't get tipped. But I did get this great story. What did we learn? Pornography stores sell a lot, supposedly. Porn theaters sell a lot, supposedly. Don't do background checks. Fall asleep when your partner is trying to argue with you. It'll give you the power. And number 5. Well, hit on your partner's grandma. You know, why not? Makes the relationship a little interesting. I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this version of Crazy Uber Stories, Part 1.